board? Because it doesn't say the board, it says the
That's what I'm
association.
trying to-
All of us,
So
everyone in here is the
So what
association.
that does is the Waiver Acres Owners Association, anybody that's involved in that. But the process is that we need to file a letter, and the association and whoever's running that has to go in and, you just can't walk on anybody's property.
Of course not, and it says reasonably, you know,
It
within
says,
reason.
but may believe, but it's the association. We're all part of the association. It's no
Right.
different
That's
than any,
right.
there's no different than any other deed restriction
But
that you
it
have.
doesn't specify that only the board can approve that to happen.
Whoever, well, the thing is who's gonna administer going in and doing the inspection?
The association.
The architectural committee, who's in, of course, that's our job.
That's not your job, but your job is to approve plans, and then anybody.
Our job is to make sure that the plans are being followed.
Yeah, and so is everybody else's. So, in this statement right here, everybody in the association is part of that too.
I don't have a problem with that,
Okay.
but it doesn't specify that the
But the
board.
thing is you need to make notification if you believe there's a violation before you just walk around there and do that, right?
They don't define a process.
Well, so in other words, I think what you're gonna have to do is come up with a process.
Well, that's kind of what we did. So let's just use Mike for example. We have a set of his plans. I'm looking at his plans compared to the home he's built. I noticed that there's some changes. The house doesn't meet the plans that have been built. There's been no description or an alternate plan submitted to the ARC for those approved changes.
Okay.
So we just submitting a letter, hey, blah, 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 cited what it states in the, underneath the architecture committee stuff. Hey, can you please just tell us what your changes are?
Okay.
Then we'll look at them like that.
And I think that's
You know,
appropriate as long as you give them due notice.
Right, exactly.
Actually, he's supposed to give us due notice. He's supposed to notify us.
He's supposed to notify us, we shouldn't have to notify him, but
And the
hey,
change, and what little bit, when I was exposed to that was, any changes that he had on that, he did notify the members of the IRC of those changes. Now, if you think there's additional changes that aren't in compliance with the plan, then you have the right to get a notification.
well, we've not been given any documentation to show that he's notified anybody.
Did he notify you in writing?
Has to be in
We
writing.
had a,
Talking to me?
well,
There should be a paper trail
I
somewhere.
agree. And
So-
where that paper trail is at, I don't know, because I've submitted everything to the developer who's overseeing the IRC, so I've told everybody that time and time again. I don't have the plans for any of the properties. I always had to have all that stuff done probably. And there's, for example, there's plans I've never seen. I've never seen House East plans, I've never seen, I think I've seen those plans, maybe, where those are at.
Right, I'm not asking whether you continually maintain those plans. What I'm asking is that if there were changes that you were notified of those changes, the question I have is that was that notification in writing?
Yes.
So I'm not asking about whether or not the
The
plans.
changes that I've seen were in writing.
Okay, and so then someone must have maintained that written notification.
I agree.
Okay.
So just checks and balances. We're just establishing a way to do checks and balances, we're not picking on anybody.
So anyway, that's what it says in the deed restriction on that, you can read that for yourselves.
Before we go on from this subject here, are we still on this? I wasn't at the last board meeting, but I was told that you said, you admitted that you lied to us.
No, I did
About
not.
the people.
No, I did not.
I'm thinking that Linda.
No, I did not. No, I did not. I'm gonna stop this right here, Mo. I did not admit that I lied to you. I told you I made a
What did you
mistake.
say then?
So have you ever made a mistake, Mo? Have you ever made a
As
mistake?
far as I know, I've never made a mistake. We're not talking about me, we're talking about you.
That's right, Mo. We can't, we're gonna shut this down right now because this is,
I can believe you're gonna shut it down.
you're exactly right, because you and I had a conversation and you were good with it, and it was over with.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was, and
It
you
was over
said
in
that,
mine. It wasn't
but you
over in
have no
mine.
record of that because it was a phone conversation, don't you? So don't give me all this crap about that, and if you want to discuss this after the meeting, I'll be more than happy.
Hey, Lynn.
It concerns
Yes, sir.
everybody in here. Why don't we
Calm
just
down.
everybody about it?
No, stop.
Mo,
Yeah, let's try.
hey,
It's done.
I'd like to make from this point forward, this is about Rusty's house. If you read the deed restrictions, it's what a Ordinary person would find his house to be completed from the exterior, not the interior. We're not the appraisal district police. So I'm gonna tell you from this day forward, if I'm lucky enough to be elected as president of the HOA, I don't wanna hear about Rusty Rasco's house. It's a mute issue. It's done. And if I'm not mistaken, Rusty's completing the top portion of this house. He's doing it himself. So there is no time frame for him to do that. He was trimming stuff out and doing doors yesterday, and we had to stop and go fight a fire. But, you know, but I'm just saying, the exterior of his home is complete, and that's what the deed restrictions require us to have.
That's fine with me. I want to say more about it. I was just told that you admitted that you lied. If you say you didn't admit it, and all these other people lied to me, that
You have characterized this as a lie from day one, no, and it was not. And I told you it was a mistake in the verbiage that was used, period. And I admitted that. It was a mistake. If you make a mistake, is it always a lie? And Lenny Resty, you know better than that.
I asked you point blank, I said, in other words, you lied to us.
You accused
And
me
you
of a
said-
lie.
No, I asked you, and you said yes.
I did not lie.
Room full of
I'll go back and
Can
listen
we
to the
just
recording.
stop?
This is
Can we
done.
just
Hey, this is
stop?
done.
It's over with.
Can we just have a meeting, just move on?
Let's go on.
I'm not
I mean,
gonna-
as far as I'm concerned, it's over with. If that's what you want to do.
Let's not live in the past.
Let's go.
Let's move forward from this point forward. Do not live in the past. Move forward. That's what it is.
Moving on.
Runway maintenance and water. We've had the, what? We did fertilizer and such. And what was
He's run out 75 there. Yeah.
So Agape did fertilize this spring, they're gonna do a fall, as far as their plan is to do a fall application for the winter. And as far as I could see from the watering and the fertilizer and the herbicide that they put on there, it was effective. It had considerably less cost than some other alternatives, which the new administration may choose to spend the money on, that's fine. That's what we chose to do to preserve money for future expenditures of the HOA. We already talked about the riser progress. Runway sanding is gonna be an ongoing issue, depending on how you wanna do it. We've used mortar sand before in the past for smoothing that out. There was some major discussion as far as whether you wanted to aerate and flood that runway. Agape Farm is 100% against that, just based on his experience working with grasses and stuff like that. As far as the percolation of the ability to aerate that soil, his recommendation was to utilize clover, which is a natural, you plant clover out there, it has a root system that goes down and aerates the soil naturally. That's been a farm procedure for years, whether that's something that we will do in the fall as a cover crop on that runway. I think we'll see what Agape thinks is the right course of action.
And I think that's a really bad idea.
Yeah, well, that
Because
clover
we've already
should
got a weed problem, and clover is just gonna perpetuate. I'm just, not a good
I'm
idea.
not scared it will
He had
check out.
an answer to that, and I don't know what that is, but I'll find that out.
Mechanical aeration
Rabbits on the run.
on a consistent basis is
Okay.
more effective, and what is effective.
Once we all figure out what we're gonna do on that runway, I think I'm opening it up for y'all's suggestion or whatever, or consideration. I think we might want to look at getting a roller back on there again too, and once all that work is done maybe, and, I think we have to check with the gas company to go across the gas.
To get the big roller in there, yeah.
But, I don't know, does anybody have any comment about that? I think
That was an issue several years ago. Trying to find a roller was an issue, and it was like we were going to do that. I think it just eventually fizzled out. I think, Mo, you were part of that.
yeah, we used that one that I had the last one, I finished a lot. I had the roller on there last time. We ran a lot of property down there, doesn't work. so.
Hey Rusty, did Jack use a roller on your slab when he did your pad?
Use their sheet foot.
Okay. I give you Jake's slide and see what he can do for us.
Now, I'm just, I don't need a big discussion about it, I'm just thinking that maybe when we did, what we decided to do on the runway, maybe we could roll it.
One of the reasons we rolled it then was because of the fact that was before we really had a lot of very good water stabilization on the runway. And this soil bucks and buckles. And so we used that roller as a way to knock that buckling down, and then we came back in and sanded over it. The more that you can keep moisture stability in the soil, the less it buckles, which would minimize the need for rolling. That's kind of where that came from. Even if you roll it with the biggest roller you can find in the world, this soil, I'm confident in 2 years, if you can maintain stability, it's going to not be where it was.
Anyway, it's just a thought.
I have one comment. John and Michelle's in front of their taxiway. That's the smoothest spot on the whole runway. So I just think when she gives input, it's a little bit.
I agree.
And I don't disagree that that looks great, and if that's what you want, go for it. It's gonna be very expensive to do, and it's gonna be a lot of work. And,
It just takes time. It just takes time, that's
I
all
agree,
it
it takes
takes.
time, you're right.
But
Takes a
you
lot of
gotta
time.
start.
And, the other suggestion with Agape that I've had good luck with as well as the mushroom mulch, we talked about mushroom mulch in the past. And one of the things on a runway from a durability perspective is if you start layering thin layers, doesn't have to be all at once, but start layering mushroom mulch in the center of that runway and continue that as a treatment, you'll end up with a buffer with a really solid Bermuda grass base to it that has cushion to it that'll help absorb and it'll help keep it smooth. And then that stuff also acts as an insulator, which also holds moisture in the runway. And then you get good grass on top of it. I've had great luck with it, just with the Bermuda that I've planted with that mushroom mulch in it, and it blows up. And I think we've seen that time and time again anytime we use that. Hauling, it's the biggest expense. You can get it relatively cheap from Monterey Mushroom up there in large quantities. And I think it would probably be a good idea that, from the HOA's perspective, is to start stockpiling that along the runways and then just working on it. I've got a spreader that I bought at an auction a long time ago that's a golf course sand spreader for what they call the fairways or the I'm not a golfer, so anyway, it's designed to put thin layers out, and I don't have any problem with the HOA using that. If that's what you want to do. It takes a tractor to pull it. Anyway, those are some of the things that I think down the road need to be addressed on the runway. I did go down and just rototill and smooth out where the hogs have torn that north end up. We're going to have hogs come through here seasonally, off and on, as it goes, and they certainly love to go in and wherever they find that blasted, I think it's behind grass and the roots associated with that, that's what they like to get out and eat. About all you can do once they go in there and bulldoze through it is rototill it down and try to smooth it back out again.
You about the hogs? Yeah. And, I probably need to be more consistent about putting, corn in that trap down there. With the help of Rusty, we cleared out 6 of them one day there. That was, got in that trap. That thing seemed to be fairly effective.
That trap works well on the small ones, and then you end up with larger herds of them. The neighbors over east of us have corral traps.
I just thought it was real.
But they tore up Mitch's front yard at one time, and they're all, when we've driven back through there behind Mitch's place over there, I've seen tracks of them back in there too, and they're not going away.
It'd kind of be nice to get some kind of an agreement that we can discharge a firearm at the hogs.
That what?
At the hogs.
We have.
That we can hunt
We
them.
have.
Well, I mean, yes, we have, but officially against the rule book to be able to discharge a firearm. And it would be nice to be, if we all agree to be able to say, look, if we're gonna hunt hogs, or if we can hunt hogs, that we should be able to have that exception.
It's also against the law to shoot deer at night, but if they're eating their crops, you can shoot at night.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's what I'm
they're
saying.
definitely
Yeah.
a
We need to shoot 'em.
domestic animal or a wild animal that's tearing up your property.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've thought about going down with my rifle and bow scope and going down there and whatnot, but what stopped me is, oh my God, there'll be this big thing about discharging firearms.
No, just let's, you know, shoot out an email and say, hey, I may be down at the end of the runway tonight. Give me some offer of application.
I don't think anybody's gonna have any issues in this neighborhood that I know.
Well, I think I'm with you.
Yeah.
Really
Are you with you?
Yeah.
Are you?
Got to suppress for non-suppressed.
Well, I've killed 7 so far. I've killed 7 so far.
I've only seen one dead, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, there was 6 of them.
We got a shot at
Well,
seven.
Yeah.
And even though it was a little smelly and the vultures ate really well when we left that one down there, it does.
Yeah, and
It
that
moves the
guy's-
hopper away for at least 3 to 6 months because they say, well, one of our buddies is laying over there and it doesn't smell very good.
Well, I tell you, I did talk to, the butcher from up at Slots, and he said, I think he would be glad to take them. I hope he don't show up in the market.
Problem solved.
But,
Buy me a slot.
But anyway, I think we may have a better way to get rid of them in the future, maybe.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fall ant bait application, and we still have a pretty good supply of ant bait that we bought. The HOA owns it. It's there at the house, and we've had a number of calls. Cindy sent out an email, so that process is in process. We won't have to do this again. HOA needs a storage building for its equipment. I've received one bid. We're starting to go out and look, and I think size-wise, we were looking at 25 by 25 foot concrete construction. This is just one bid that we've got. Wood frame and trusses, 14-foot sidewalls, 3 12-pitch metal roof, metal panel exterior siding, color to be determined, some transit style windows for natural light, 2 12 by 12 foot door, metal roll-up doors, hand-operated chain drive, 1 3 foot wide metal personnel door, coated mechanical deadlock, 50 amp electrical service, and some non-potable water service. That bid came out to $28,000.
Nah, you can beat that, dude. Why don't you do a slab?
Yeah.
Restoring a mower in there.
Where's it gonna go?
Well, the only lot that we own is for the.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
with the water thing in.
So, yeah, but why do we need electric even in there?
Well, how you
We're
gonna
working
clean a
on the
mower?
equipment.
Yeah.
We can clean it outside, I mean, you know.
With what? Air compressed air is what you want to use to clean that mower. So that's some of the other things I entered in there. It's the reason you'd want some electricity in that building, just so you'd have access to it. You could potentially plug in a air compressor. The water tap would be super clean with water. It's
Yeah.
also not potable
Could
water.
we come off of our existing water line over
Yes.
there
Yeah.
and
We
electricity?
can, we just, the electric, that's right. The electricity and the water is right there. It's just a matter of tapping off.
So it's not that much cost.
Yeah.
That's the question, is how much.
It's on there, and even if you had a well or something as well, I mean, 15 amps seems very light.
Oh, 50.
Oh, 50. Oh, I thought I said 15.
No, 50 amps.
Yeah.
That's enough to run.
That's all
Yeah,
you
and I want to point out that this is going to be right next to one of our residents' homes, and it should be nice living. You know, it's not on the back of some property where nobody's.
Well,
gonna
that's
care.
where the architectural review committee will have the input to
Right.
approve the design and what they want it to look like. And I think getting it as close as you can to the entire utility side of what the HOA needs, and then putting a fence around it.
Yeah.
Because,
I think it's a great idea to do this. I mean,
Yeah.
get the building in.
Get the
So-
building up first.
Yeah.
I mean, we've needed it a long time, and you know, we got money, a lot of money invested in that tractor, and we ought to take care of it.
well, and you can store not only that, but you could put it, even a combination lock if you wanted, or whatever. You could store fire ant bait in there. I mean, obviously it's gonna have to be regulated, but there's, let's see, what did I write in here? We've got, air compressor, water tap, water hose, air hose, and also for cleaning, fuel storage, other consumables such as grease guns, oil filters, stuff that you can do to maintain your mowers, you know, yourself. There's a certain things on this John Deere mower that we don't have the capability to do, and we had that, it was a hydrostatic transmission valve issue that we had to have changed out because it was floating, it was doing this forward-backward thing. And they had to literally tear the whole machine apart to get in there and do that. It wasn't cheap, but we got it fixed. And so that aspect of the mower is working very well. My biggest concern with that mower is obviously exposure to moisture, which down here is just, You can be in a building and the moisture's still gonna get after you. Take a pair of pliers and throw them in your toolbox and don't put any WD-40 on it, that'll be rusty in a month.
But it does help.
Can we maybe put enough room for Ted's and Ted, your tractors, your two of them? And
Well, that's why.
Yeah,
I got to off on it a little bit.
That'd be wonderful, but it's
Yeah,
up to
I
you.
think that's a great idea, Mo.
That's why I wanted the 12-foot doors in the high school.
Yeah, big enough.
And that was 25 by 25. I like working on concrete. I'm sorry, I've worked on
Well,
it my life.
I think it's a great idea. But I'll tell you right now, there's enough carpenters in this room right here that could probably build that.
Well, and that's, I don't have a problem with that, and I don't think anybody else will.
Saves extra money, I don't mind spending
Matter
a
of
lot of
orchestrating
time
it.
on it myself. I don't know about Jack or Mo or anybody else, but I think we could do it. I don't have a problem with it, doing
Maybe you
anything.
can hold
I don't know
on, then you come in and
I'll
pour the
agree
slab.
who gets the nail.
Who'd you pay, Lynn, who'd you get that bid from? The actual building portion of it?
Woodway.
Woodway? Okay.
Actually,
Yeah,
guys I've been in contact with, I think they beat that bid too.
yeah. You talking about archery?
I just got one bid, so
Yeah.
it's not, I'm locked in anything. I mean, everybody's.
Yeah. The Strain Brothers, I know those guys too, so I mean,
So, since I think we've got pretty much an overall agreement, could we go ahead and have a proposal or put something in the minutes that we're gonna move forward with this building? We want 3 competitive bids that we can, let's kick it out to everybody. And
Yeah.
obviously, you can kick it out to everybody, and whoever's on the next board's gonna have to do the final approval of it. But, kick the bids out on the website, let everybody look at it on the website, and then you could even come up with either an electronic vote or get some input, say, okay, you got 14 days to give us some feedback on that. And then at the next board meeting, come to a proposal and finalize it and get the thing built.
I think the sooner we move forward with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
I agree.
So let's make it a record in the minutes that we're gonna move forward, we're gonna get a minimum of 3 bids, maybe more.
Yeah.
And then it'll go out, once we got those 3 bids, and a discussion of whoever's running the next board meeting to finalize a deal and get the thing built.
I don't think Jack Bailey's gonna be too excited about it. It was like, oh,
Jack Bailey wasn't excited about anything we did on that one.
I mean, I'm just saying.
The ARC makes it look good, you need to care.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him, Rusty?
Would the ARC come up with some type of a guideline of what they want?
What
How they want
materials
it to
would look good, that kind of thing. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Right.
Spec it out.
Yeah.
You can use these specs that we kind of started with here for starting point if you want to.
Okay, yeah.
There you go. Grab those, and then, I would just say start exchanging information and see what, I would say the sooner we do this, the better off we're gonna be.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I can tell you already, there's some issues with corrosion on the mower that I'm gonna be fighting on to get done with the heavy mowing season, just to knock it down. Could be massive quantities of corrosion, that's good, corrosion experts, so,
But it shouldn't be sitting around,
I agree,
too expensive to use it.
I agree.
Reason why I hate down here.
And we still owe money on it.
Eight weeks before they fix it, in the dirt and the rain.
Good. So, I did purchase a trimmer, I didn't get a Steel, I didn't get an Echo, I got a Troy-built 4-stroke that I found, and so far, I know you're, and if it doesn't work
Just the
out.
4-stroke. That
I've had a 4-stroke
four-strokes
for 10 years.
and no luck with them.
You talking about just a weed whacker,